welcome in. Goodness gracious. Come on in, everybody. I know we're all scared, but we can be scared together, right? So that's okay. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, I'm getting my last little pieces here put together. Hello. There we go. Eeks. And there we are. And let me see here. Okay. All right. Doing good. We're doing good. Welcome. Hi, Chaos. Hello, welcome, Cowboy. Good evening, Jennifer. Hello, everybody. Let me bump this up a little bit. And I have to pick out my rings. I haven't done that yet. I tell you, these last few days. Hello, John. Hello, hi, Chris. Oh, yeah, did you see this? Look, we've got more land, everybody. Look, there, we're going to have some snowbirds over there, right? I laugh so I don't cry, all right? Oh, my goodness gracious. So, yes, I'm getting my ring here, everybody. I have to admit, this particular piece of history, I'm not a fan of. Not a fan of this kind of stuff going on here. So, yeah. Took over my neighbor's house. Sweet. Oh my gosh, did everybody... Sweet. Oh my gosh, did everybody lose their... That's my bad. I was turning my volume down. There we go. Volume down. Sorry if that frightened anybody. Hello. Right. Oh my goodness. There we go. That's better. Hi, Nate. Welcome. All right, I need one more ring. I keep getting distracted by the fun squirrels. So, no, I don't like that one. Which ring? I tell you, this is like hashtag first world problems here. I'm not sure. Do people hashtag anymore? I'm just over in the corner talking to myself, everybody. Don't worry about it. It's perfectly fine. Nothing to see here. All right. Maybe we should we'll do purple. All right. When in doubt, do purple. Right? Oh, I don't know about that one. I'm not sure about this purple though. Yes, with a recap is I'm just looking for I'm picking my rings. I'm picking my rings out right now. So you have not missed anything yet. All right, let's try this one. We'll see. Oh, we got it. All right, everybody, we got it. Sometimes, it takes a little extra time to get yourself sorted. Yep. We're just getting started in here. So now, everybody, remember yesterday. Was it yesterday? I forget now. I believe it was yesterday. And we had an indictment come down for this Venezuelan fella and his wife and some other Venezuelan fellas as well. Right. So Maduro, I think is what I was calling it. So we had gone through this. It was hot off the presses, right? Was it Sunday? Oh my gosh, it seems like weeks ago. Was it? It was a decade ago, Chris. I know. Right. All right. So yesterday, apparently, they put this out, and I kind of I went through. I hit the highlights for us here, just to see. Well, where did this even all come from? The overview of inchoate offenses to try to explain what those mean a little bit more. But then I thought, well, let's go ahead and go back one more time and go through the parts that I skipped. Because I did skip a few parts yesterday because I had wanted to make sure I had time for the Jack Smith deposition. So tonight I thought, well, let's just go through. I mean, they were arraigned today. Hello, James. Um, Give us the tea. I mean, I don't know, like this? Like, is that the tea? No. I don't know. I've got the giggles tonight, everybody. For the class. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Bruce Wayne's mother. I tell you. I know I've been trying not to tell you stuff lately, but I tell you what. It's getting ridiculous. They no longer fit on my closet. I now have a separate board for each month. Like I couldn't even do like one topic. Like immigration is not going to fit on the board. So October's board is completely filled with cases. And then November's like almost, I had hoped to be able to put December and November on the same board, but oh, I was wrong. I was wrong with that. Hello, Crimson. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Hello, June Marie, in case I forgot to say hello earlier. Need a pod. Oh my gosh. Well, I was wondering about that. I don't know. I have to think about these things. This case is fraudulent. This one here that I'm going to read, the indictment. Interesting. Give Maduro to the international authority. That's a great question. I would say that is not out of the question. But as you know, in this country, we tend to try to take care of things ourselves, even, if it's problematic. So, and I mean, historically, we haven't really kicked people out and sent them to be prosecuted in other places that often. So it's, I would say, a possibility if there was a violation of international law, which I truly believe there was a violation of international laws and treaties. I'll put those two together for the international community to get together and be like, dude, we got to get this sorted out. That's definitely a possibility. Oh, I know, Steffi. I know it's 22. I know. It's terrible. How about the immunity defense? So, good question. If you'll notice here, we've got the U.S. versus all of the peoples. I think there's only one ma'am in here, so I do try to be sensitive to that. So Flores here. Whew. All right. And we have a lot of different names in our different Hispanic and Latin communities. So many times we'll have 4 or 5 names. It's no big deal. It's just tradition. So what were we talking about? Wait, I had a very important point. Wait, told me. Oh yeah, the immunity. So if this case gets filed at any point against the Orange, or any kind of a criminal charge gets filed against the Orange, that's when we start going down the immunity road. So technically, in a lawsuit situation, right, the Clinton v. Jones case said if you had a civil wrong done before or after you were in office, you can go in and have to deal with that civil case, but not those 4 years that you're president, right? So then now, just more recently in our immunity case, they have said we can't charge you criminally and take you through the criminal system if it's something you officially, in your official duties, did during those 4 years. And it does kind of branch out a little bit and protect some other people. So it's going to depend on what kind of a criminal activity he would be charged with. He'd have to get charged before he can assert it. And then also whether there is a way around this question of official duties, because if he was not doing official duties here, then he also would not be using the immunity case. That's the other thing I try to remind people. It has to be an official duty, which is difficult to define because it's not specified anywhere. And 2, it has to be the president himself. So the president and not part of his official duties and a crime. All right. Right, Stephanie. All right, everybody. Stephanie, you're cracking me up. All right, everybody, let's take a look here. Stephanie, 47, love you. You're fantastic. And she says, if you have 0 followers and are following 0 people and are a troll, you will be blocked. And I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, Steffi. I do have wonderful moderators in here to help us be able to just kind of learn instead of fight. There's lots of places to go fight, people, but here we try to learn. And my sweet, amazing moderators work so hard to kind of keep it, absolutely, John, to kind of keep it so it's a more of a learning environment for everybody. Oh my gosh, that's cracking me up. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, so let's dive back in here. There's a few things here that are hinky. All right. Now, last night, I think it was last night, I was on a live, on Manda's live, I think. All the days are blending together. And somebody had said something like, why are you supporting a really, really bad person or a group of people, right? So these are bad people. Now, the evidence has not been authenticated and gone through trial, but from my basic understanding of the last 20 years, and Noriega, which we'll put that to the side, these are some really, really bad people here. Bad, bad, bad. So I'm comfortable saying that because I believe that is really true. So they're saying, well, why are we doing anything? Why can't we just put the bad people, into the jail? Why are you supporting the bad people? To that, our answer with Barrister also was great here. The defense attorneys that defend the defendants, right, who have not been proven guilty yet beyond a reasonable doubt, they get a lot of crap. They get a lot of crap because they're like, how can you possibly represent somebody when you know that they're a bad person, did something wrong? And the answer is, and should always be, that they are not trying to come in and say, this person is innocent, you have to, believe everything. No, they have to zealously advocate. But more importantly, they're representing the Constitution. Anytime they're doing defense work in the criminal system, you are keeping the Constitution set in its ways, all right? They'll come in, as attorneys, we'll come in and we'll figure out, was the confession done incorrectly under the Fifth Amendment? Was the search done improperly under the Fourth Amendment? Did they take too many things? So, we've got a deprivation of property. There's all these questions. And then, of course, do we have equal protection and due process? That's the Constitution defense attorneys are looking at, and that's what they're defending. So we're not going to come in and say like, it's awful that these guys and gals are being put through this. I don't care. I don't give two bips in a bob who's going through it. What I care about is, did the government do its job lawfully under the Constitution? That's what my question is. And so that's the perspective I come from here. So as I'm going through this, I know some people have gotten a little bit frustrated because they're like, why would you come in here and support anything regarding this person that had anything to do with justice? Why not just get rid of him? Again, the answer is it's because of the Constitution. So the other side does not have that same conviction towards the Constitution, and that's fine. But this is just how most attorneys, quite frankly, do it. And what you'll see too with defense attorneys is it's not the prosecutors going after the defense attorneys, because the prosecutors know how hard they work. It's the other people not typically in the system, not really understanding what we're doing. So no extradition. Yep. No indictments can be legal since they breached international law to kidnap him and his wife. So that's a good question. It's a good point, Rob. That's something that we're going to have to kind of slug through. It is, no, first of all, no. You should not just be going into another sovereign nation and grabbing the leader and flying away. Like, that's some, bad guy Superman bullshit, if you ask me. Like, what are you doing here? But it has been done before. And it was messy then, and it's messy now. We had times to figure out how to do this in a way that wasn't so messy, and we didn't. We just did not. Uh-oh. Yeah, I said a bad word. I'm sorry. Waste of money that the people will be paying for. Well, that I'm not sure. Oh, absolutely, VC. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot in here. Right. So exactly. Well, I get it. He's not the leader. I get it. But we're in the top of the pyramid here. All right. So whomever is in the top. Well, and Michelle, I hear you. This is, though, I think a great moment to say this is what I'm talking about. I mean, there's people, lots of people are going to want to come in and say, that's not true. He did this. He didn't do that. He's good. He's bad. It's awful. It's wonderful. All of those things. All of those things are going to be mixed in here. But none of those things are relevant to jurisdiction when it comes to criminal cases. All right. Those details need to be handled after we get going and make sure we're in the right court, right? We can't present evidence until we know the judge can hear the evidence. That's where the problems are going to wind up. I would imagine a motion to dismiss will be on file maybe tonight, maybe within the next few days. And they're going to come in with a motion to dismiss, very simply stating there's no jurisdiction. And his capture was illegal. Under the Constitution. So you're like, well, he's in a different country. Does our Constitution apply? Yes, it applies to the people taking an oath to the Constitution. So it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. Are we playing by the rules? That's exactly right, Sin. That's our whole job. Just to make sure everyone's playing by the rules. I may not like what happens here. Oh, your mind's toast. Oh, I understand that, J-Jack. We want to know, and I think a lot of first-year law students, this is what I had found typically when working with them, is that there's like all this heat and passion, like, let's go get up. But then by the end of your second year in law school, you're like, all right, where's the test? Did we meet the test? No? All right. Find another test. So it's very important to, put your opinions out there, everyone, but we still have to follow the law here. And that's what this is all about. All right, so there's my that's stealing their oil and making us feel. Oh, exactly. This is pure showmanship here. Right. Seems pretty confident. Well, I mean, come on. I don't know. My guess last night when I was hanging out, my guess was this is all being done, of course, as a media blitz or whatever, and to keep people from reading other things on the one hand. And I would have to say I'm kind of in agreement because like the election that occurred was before the Orange came into office. And this issue with Venezuela, has been going on since 2000. So if you look at the history and you go through the court history, which there isn't very much because, he wasn't here, you will see that this has just been a giant mess that no one's been able to really clean up because I don't think they spent very much time on it before in a way that the public could see. But that's where we're at now. We're like, okay, well, let's finish cleaning off the desk, right? So that's some of that here. Really going to come for Trump due to his violation of international law? Well, John, we've got to wait until somebody files something. We don't know if he has officially violated the international law because there's no charge yet. So, what crime was committed has to be alleged through the process. Again, with the rules. Would be happy because they're getting... Well, I think China is actually getting upset about it. Distraction from e-files, I agree. I think China's just about at that point where they're like, look, dude. Yes. So, one of the biggest problems that we're going to run into here is the taco moment of this fella, of the orange fella. While you're tacoing, we're going to have some lives that will be gone forever, So it's all fun and games with the tacos until people start unaliving because of your incompetence. So there's that. All right. Even if they deserve it. Oh my gosh, and they do. And they do. All right. I am not here for capital punishment. I do not agree with that because we do not use the guillotine. And because we don't use the guillotine, I find that it is a violation of cruel and unusual punishment. That's my take on it. But alas, we still got to keep going forward here. What has to occur for the courts to throw this case out? So that's another great question, right? So this is an indictment from a grand jury. Now, there's kind of like it smacks of another, well, this is again another superseding indictment. It smacks of another case that had been filed a few years ago, but it's hard to kind of track everything down. But the bottom line is, the short and long of it is that the defendants will probably ask for a dismissal, and they'll say it's jurisdiction. That'll get put on file. We'll brief it. That'll take weeks to brief. Probably have a hearing on it, on what jurisdiction is. It'll be, groundbreaking, whatever. The Supreme Court will hear it, and then it'll come back down again. Things are a little bit quicker in the criminal system because our deadlines are tighter, but that's about it. Can the U.S. even bring charges related to international law if the U.S. is not part of the ICC? Oh, good question. And it's again, we're in this gray area, right? Because I think even though we have been like, we're not part of the ICC, we're too cool for school, I think there still are rules and protocol that get followed when treaties, international law gets broken, right? We still go through the whole process. So, and I think that that's a really big question and a good question to have. If you will note, just as a side note, a lot of our indigenous nations have treaties, right? And so if the peoples are coming in, the colonizers are coming in and using the stuff on the reservations or using the water supply and some stuff, that's a treaty violation. What happens? It means they file. They file in court, in federal court, in order to have a treaty enforced properly or sanctions for the people who have broken the treaty. So that's like keeps it closer to home when you're trying to figure out like, well, where's this going to go internationally? So you got to think about it that way. The rules are different. The rules in international court are different. And again, we did not sign on for full jurisdiction, but we have signed treaties. So if we have signed any kind of a legal treaty, then whatever's in the treaty must be complied with. All right. And then you might say, well, what happens if you don't? Well, then you have to look and see who did you sign the treaty with, because whomever was on the other side of that can come back in and try to enforce it. All right. That's kind of like the long and short of it. How's he getting under the U.S. code? Right. This is it's weird stuff here. Oh, same here in Europe? Okay. The ECHR. Okay. Good. Initially signed, revoked. Then Obama said we'd be an observer. Man, I tell you, that's one thing that I would agree on wholeheartedly after, well, let me see. I would say, because, hold on. I'm trying to think of the time zones for South Korea versus Vietnam. But I think pretty much after our biggest conflicts that we've had, everything has kind of gone in a different direction. Yeah, fairly complicated. Exactly. Not upholding any treaty in the U.S. Well, and that's the thing, Kim, is that every single violation then can be brought in as a lawsuit, which is why I need a bigger closet. 15 hours ahead for Korea. All right. Yes. Well, right. And of course, we've got the demilitarized zone. Is that the right word? That might be the wrong word there in Korea, but that's how that goes. Does the government have to give permission for you to come in under the basis of a warrant? Bubbles, there are a lot of requirements, actually. There are a lot. And not just this, U.S. warrant versus a sovereign nation. I mean, that's one piece of many pieces that were not followed properly in this entire case. So we got some problems. Ceasefire now. Okay, thank you. No standing. Good question. Unsure at this point. Unsure. Is there any scenario where the case gets thrown out and he's returned to Venezuela? Yes. I would say that's absolutely a possibility. Here's what I see. If he doesn't, whenever that motion to dismiss is filed, which I think will be filed probably pretty soon, within the next week or so, once that gets filed and we bust through whether or not we can have the dismissal, the court will either dismiss off of that dismissal or not and have the case go forward. Now, if they dismiss, it's done, it's over. But if they do not dismiss, then what I think is going to happen is we're going to have like a huge trial situation going on, much like we saw with Hussein, much like we saw with the Panama fellow as well. For some reason, I have a hard time remembering his name, and I think that's because he was a double agent. Noriega. There we go. That was huge. That was huge, right? When we had some international problems like that. Or even, the Oliver North testimony of President Reagan, right? I mean, there was a lot going on in there too. Would a writ of habeas be another route? I would say habeas comes in, you can plead or you can ask the court to see you if you feel like your rights are being violated by being held in detention. But here, every step of the way, he has had contact with the legal system. Habeas is really meant for, like, they pick me up, they kidnap me, which we do have here, and then they put me in a cave, and nobody knows what happened to me. And that's just not what's going on here. Things are being filed in court, although it's pretty dicey. Judges are talking about it, lawyers are talking about it. There's no question that this person is in jail. So if their motion to dismiss doesn't hit hard enough, I would say any kind of a habeas question would have already been answered before even going in for a motion to dismiss. Would this be able to go to SCOTUS? Yes. Yes. Anything that's got the United States of America in the caption here, that's a federal case. SCOTUS is essentially an appellate court at that point, right? So they have original jurisdiction. I don't want to get too far into this, but original jurisdiction, subject matter jurisdiction, personal jurisdiction, all those different kinds of jurisdictions that we are bouncing around in between. But when it comes to an appeal out of a federal court, the top appeal, the last shot you get is up to SCOTUS. So, and SCOTUS isn't even letting people kind of like skip over very much or leapfrog, which is what we had hoped in the other cases a year ago. But so no, they're not necessarily letting it go quicker. But yeah, it could be from SCOTUS. Possible. Hussein didn't have a trailer. True. Although he did have a lot of like castles, I guess, is one thing. Right. So Hussein didn't have a trial. They went in and got him and dumped him in this. No, that's just not true. That's just not true. There was quite a bit, actually, of court procedures with Hussein. And the most memorable pieces of those hearings, I guess, if you'd call it that, were that he did not acknowledge or respect the court he was in. He basically said to the judge, "You have no jurisdiction over me. I'm not going to do or say anything." And the judge is like, "Well, actually, I do." So there's a huge fight between Hussein and the jurisdiction trying to go forward and try him in court, right? Do you recap? No, but well, I'm not sure about the bond hearing yet. All right. Hi, Ken. Welcome. Good to see you as always. I can't say what's going to happen exactly with the bond because today, everybody, we had, and let me just get this down here, and it's not going to be spelled correctly. All right. Somebody told me that it's like not professional if you can't spell words correctly. So just forgive me. All right. So we had our arraignment today. Is it 2 hours? I don't know. That's not it at all. All right, chat. How do you spell arraignment? Wait, where's my dictionary? Oh my gosh. Okay, Steffi. Arrangement. That's not the right word. I'm sorry, everyone. Here we go. I've got my little dictionary here. Here we go. Sometimes if it's got double letters, I forget. Oh, I got it. Oh, here we go. So, arraign. See, I knew there was a G in there somewhere. See, isn't that weird? I think it's spelled weird. So, I blame English. So, here it is. We're in Black's Law here, and it's the initial step in a criminal prosecution, whereby the defendant is brought before the court to hear the charges and enter a plea. All right, so some people get mixed up with arraignments and initial appearances. An initial appearance is like you're just quick in front of the judge just to make sure that you're not going to habeas it. You know what I mean? A lot of times these can go together as well. So they went in for their arraignment today. The two here Oh, let me see. And look at this. Look at this quartz artist. I mean, this is, in my opinion, this is just quite stunning, actually. So the fella here, Mr. Maduro, and then his wife, and I'm going to refer to her as Flores. No disrespect intended, but just an easier way to identify these characters. They were in court today. We've got attorneys here. We got the judge over here, not looking particularly happy, but they said not guilty. So they've pled not guilty. At this point, there's not going to be any grounds for any kind of habeas because we're getting a due process. This is due process. Going into the court and saying, "Hey, what's up? What's going on?" That's the due process element. All right. So we have the arraignment today. After the arraignment, we can have something called a pretrial conference. And this is usually when you start bringing up, well, I mean, you should do it before, but typically we start as defense attorneys bringing up our affirmative defenses, right? And there's a lot actually in this case. If it goes forward. So we have a pretrial conference, and then we set a scheduling date out for briefs, for motions to dismiss, for motions in limine, all of those kinds of things then get set out on a schedule. And then there's more stuff, but we'll keep it to this for right now. What Black's version do you have there? Oh, let me see. I have the pocket addiction. Now, listen, everybody. I'm speaking too fast. Putting the words together. Sixth pocket edition. There we go. 92-year-old district judge. Okay. By the way, not sponsored. This is my personal book. I'm not sponsoring it or encouraging anyone to purchase it. Nope, I'm not. Oh my gosh. Well, I think if we've learned nothing else, everyone, we've learned that you can be as old as, well, see, now I don't want to get the religion involved in it because not everybody understands the age of Moses. So, so it doesn't matter how old you are. How's that? It doesn't matter. They'll come in and they might say, well, is he incompetent? But this judge has been sitting on the bench and, doing work. So unless his work's been called into question for incompetence, they'll leave it alone. Right, pocket addictions. That's no way to go, Blue Horizon. You know what I'm saying. You know how that is. Exactly. He doesn't give a blank what anyone thinks of him. That's perfect. I mean, that's perfect. That was one of the things about Judge Mershon that was so refreshing. Was he's like, I don't care who you are. Who you are makes no difference to me. I'm here to do a job. Oh my gosh, why did they bring this in the Southern District of New York? Well, and that's a good question. And I don't have a definitive answer. What I think is that in New York, and we'll go through and we'll read through this stuff more tonight because I kind of zipped through it. But I think it's because of the connections between the United States, like the closest connection and the largest is probably going to be New York, although I would say not necessarily always, but I think enough for them to feel comfortable calling a grand jury in because you somehow have to show that the people in your area are being harmed, right? So under that jurisdiction, and it splits throughout all of the United States. Let me show you here quick. This isn't the best. Oh, wait, I thought I had a better map. Let me get you a better map. I need to save the slave maps for my other thing that I'm working on here. And it gets a little complicated when, well, Civil War. Civil War is complicated. Here we go. So this is how we are divided up in the United States into our different federal courts. So we've got 12 essentially circuits. Although we only go up to 11 in Florida, the 12th circuit would be DC, has its own circuit and is just called the DC circuit. But then there's a special one, like look behind the door, and we've got a specialty court piece as well. So that would be the 13th one. And this is where the tariffs are going through, right? So the international trade stuff or whatever. If it's a specialty item, it'll go through the federal circuit. So originally we'll say, well, there's 11 circuits, 1 through 11, plus DC circuit, plus the federal circuit for special situations. 'Congratulations. So that kind of sets out here what we're doing. Legal field for 40 years. Oh, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. And thank you for your sacrifice. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing to be able to deal with attorneys for that long and still be like, all right. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Thanks for sharing that, Patricia. Interesting that this is not going through DC. I'm not sure. You might be able to say, and they do say actually, as we get further into this, they do say, well, what's blue versus what's red, right? And those are some good questions. But the best I can figure is that New York was the one up and ready to go. I mean, I think, isn't the New York feds, like, they're the top of the top, right? Like they're number 1 and 2 and 3. I mean, they're only one of the 1, 2, 3s, but I mean, they're like one of the best ones in the whole US. And so I would say they've definitely got the power and the ability to do it. Oh my gosh, of course. I question why this isn't going through DC as well. Yes. And again, the only thing, again, that I can really think of, because DC is, well, and I don't have anything to base this on, but in my own opinion, we have a lot of statutes and rules that are challenged within DC, things happening. They've got criminal codes, civil codes. That's fine, but they're not a state. And at this point, I would say when we're working with international people of this caliber, I would say you probably would want a strong state to do it. But I would challenge all of you to look up Noriega and see, because I don't remember which state he went through, but that will probably unravel later. Sassoon and her team quit after demands. Exactly right. Exactly right. It's one of the, DC's a mess right now, Kelly. Oh my goodness gracious. Yep. Florida, again, it was the same state. It was New York, Navy vet. Oh my gosh. Okay then. Woo. All right. It's under the desk and it could be brought. New York or Florida. Sure. I question why they didn't go all out and put it in front of Eileen King. No! Really? Noriega was through Florida, right? So that makes sense. All right. I mean, at the time, that. But, by the way, this reminds me, moderators, too. We kind of have done this a little bit the last time before I dive in, because I promise I'm actually going to dive in here and start reading. But one thing that we had talked about was when we get to 100,000, I think I was going to do definitions, but instead, how about I do a 2-minute case brief on an old school case, right? So I've got tons of cases here, constitutional law case. So if we get the likes up to 100,000, then I will just do a sticky note case here of one of the best cases. Let me make sure that I've got it. But we'll put a time limit on it. And I just thought that'd be kind of fun to do that, right? I mean, I thought that'd be fun. But then again, I'm also a dork. So there's that. Miami, Florida. All right. That's all right. And we vote to ban Fuzzard. No, I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that. Oh, poor Fuzzard. Tap the screen. That's right. Ooh, and we'll have to think about which case we want to do, too. There's just so many. That would be really fun to do. Or I can, well, anyway, we'll wait until we get there. I'm already like pulling all these old cases up, like, all right, here we go. Nerds unite. All right, so I went through quite a bit of this last night. I do want to hit the introduction, but then we're going to fast forward into more of the details, more of the fact details that they're putting out here, okay? So, hello, Mama Vanna. Hello. All right, here's our introduction. For over 25 years, the leaders of Venezuela have abused their positions of public trust and corrupted once legitimate institutions into tons of powder that bring tons of powder into the United States. Number 2, here. I just see the pen. Yeah. Yes, this is one of my, oh my gosh, I love these pens so much. They're so fun. Etsy is where I got these. Oh, that's crypto, thanks. That's so sweet. Yeah, sugar cookies, that's right. Sugar. That's right. All right, so Maduro, the defendant, is at the forefront of that corruption and has partnered with his co conspirators to use his illegally obtained authority and the institutions he corroded to transport thousands of tons of powdered cookies to the United States. Since his early days in Venezuelan government, Maduro has tarnished every public office he has held. As a member of Venezuela's National Assembly, Maduro moved loads of powdered cookies under the protection of Venezuelan law enforcement. As Venezuela's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Maduro provided Venezuelan diplomatic passports to drug traffickers and facilitated diplomatic cover for planes used by money launderers to repatriate drug proceeds from Mexico to Venezuela. As Venezuela's president and now de facto ruler, we have, let me make sure I get the right page. Maduro allows powdered sugar cookies filled with corruption, fueled corruption to flourish for his own benefit, for the benefit of the members of his ruling regime, and for the benefit of his family members. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, look at that. Oh, the cowboy hat. We love it. We love it. We love it. Oh, my goodness gracious. Yes. So, yeah, de facto. You know what I'm saying, right? De facto. So let's pause for a minute, all right? Because again, I do want to get into the language, but we already have some questionable things coming up just out of these first few sentences here. Oh, absolutely. Yes. I'm so glad you could come and hang out with us tonight and get some clarification on this banana sauce. I was going to try to say something other than sauce, but it escaped me. For those that don't like bananas. All right, hold on. Let's take a look at this paragraph here, everybody, because what I'm hoping we can do is I would like to look and see what's none of our business, right? So let's look. We've got defendant is at the forefront of that corruption and has partnered with his co-conspirators to use his illegally obtained authority. Illegally obtained authority according to who? Right? Who is saying his authority was obtained illegally? That's my first question. He didn't win the election. Right. So that's a good point. We'll put that up here. He didn't win the election is one. Right. Mm-hmm. Change hands. Right, has the receipts. Streets say he rigged the election. Okay. He stole it. Okay. Because some would say folks in the US have done the same. Well, certainly would say that. It's not our business. All right, I think it's a mix of all of those, everyone. All right, so we have his illegally, under what law, obtained according to who, authority, which includes what? These are questions that are for the country he's in regarding whether or not the authority he has over that country is appropriate, right? Because, and this is the big question too, that Europe is like trying to, help be like, dude, sovereignty, anyone? Because if we just look at it and we say, wow, that's illegal, let's go into their country now and take their president, that's not okay, right? So we've already got one just here in a couple of sentences. From Trump's corruption to Maduro, what's the difference? I think that there actually is a difference. I feel like they are, we're in a fruit salad, but they're different fruits. I think because the orange isn't specifically like moving product, although I suppose you could say like all of his like merch is product, but not moving illegal merch around to other countries. I think that's truly what's going to separate this out between corruption on one side, of course there is, and then corruption on the other side, of course there is, but it's corruptions with the powder. Attorney, but do not practice in federal court. Is it normal for indictments to be like this Um, it's a mixed bag. This actually indictment, I can tell that Jack Smith did not do this one, but this is for me. This is a really lean indictment, and I think it's because it's a sealed superseding indictment. They only unsealed it yesterday, I believe. So the original indictment, I'm still looking for it at this point. I know it's got the same language involved, but this was not set out how we usually would get these indictments, because you can even see here, let's look at this open here. I even have another one, right? So I have another superseding indictment, but where's my year on here? Where's the information? And it says grand jury charges, right? For count one. Meanwhile, here we have this huge introduction. So it's a superseding indictment, and it's thin. It's super thin. But format wise, it's also not the best I've seen, but not the worst. I would say Jack Smith, if you're looking for perfection, right? You're going to want to pull I would say pull, the espionage case. You could pull the espionage case down in Florida. That was very well done, included pictures and graphs. And if you want to see a state one, though, that blows everything out of the water, even though you're practicing in the state, I would highly recommend Fonnie Willis's case in Georgia. I mean, that was like an incredible indictment, the way it was put out. Did I agree with everything? No, but it was a very good indictment. So those are the two places I would look for sure. Yeah, Jack Smith wasn't playing around for sure. For sure. All right. If he's pardoning traffickers who are presidents in other countries, why does he give an F? Good question. Unknown. And again, we have to remember he's got a little posse around him, too, that are kind of pulling the puppet strings. All right. So, and my point here was we don't even have to get in very far before we start seeing words that would push our jurisdiction out of the way. So that was kind of what I was going for here. Of course, happy to. And again, just in my experience, so they go into explaining who the defendants are, all of the peoples here, which were the defendants again. And so I didn't want to go through name by name. That's why I fast forwarded it. But this time tonight, I want to make sure we go through the facts that they're setting out. All right. The facts in the indictment, the grand jury agreed with probable cause to allow for. All right. So let's be super careful about that. Oh, we're at 100K already. Oh my goodness. All right. Let me grab my which one would be good for tonight. Let's see here. Oh, let's see. Over in here. Well, maybe that's not it. No, that's not. Okay, 1 minute. All right. Oh, there, it's over there. Just a moment. I have to grab, shooks. Shooks, everybody. All right, well, I'll have to just go through my old book. Hold on, I've got a wardrobe malfunction, everybody. Just a minute. Law journey last year. Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, it's a journey for sure, C's. It's definitely a journey, but if you can find your people, then, you're in the right place. All right, just 1 minute. Sorry, everybody. Wardrobe malfunction here. Oh my goodness gracious. The day today, everyone, has been a bit different. I would have been okay with a better day, but that's all right. Sometimes it happens. All right. So let's quick find a historical case. Here we go. Here's a list of some cases. No, just Virginia. Oh, Youngstown. Okay. Should we do Youngstown? That's kind of interesting. Tennessee versus Garner. Ooh. All right. Let's do the Cats case. Should we do Cats? Cats. Oh. All right. Let me just print this out real quick. It's like 2 pages, and the very first right to privacy case that we have for the entire U.S. So 1 minute here, and we'll be able to see the test then. Um, should I have printed it out earlier? Yes. Did I? No. That's all right. Oh, whatever. All right, 1967. Let me go get it off my printer. Just a moment. And we'll do a quick 1 minute brief on it. All right. Whew. Uh-oh, I hope I didn't put any weird notes in here. Sometimes. Oh, nope, I didn't. Phew. Should have looked at that before. Here we go, everyone. Thanks again for the 1,000 likes. Let's hit a quick 90-second, 2-minute brief here. Cats v. United States. Hopefully you've heard of it. You probably have not. I get these little blurbs off of oye.org. That's my favorite place. And they also have audio recordings of a lot of these cases. This was decided by the Warren Court, where Chief Justice Earl Warren was presiding. This is when a lot of our civil rights came out, actually. We had a ton of civil rights. Brown versus Board of Education. Lots of things going on with the Warren Court. So we appreciate that. Here, this case was in 1967, and it has to do with the right to privacy, right? Privacy is not listed as a right within the Constitution because it's just not. And I think because their idea of privacy at the time is different than what our idea of privacy is, but it's not in the Constitution. It's in what we call the penumbra or the water blots of the Constitution, or what they inferred when they were writing it. So here are the facts of the case, short and sweet. Acting on a suspicion that Katz was transmitting gambling information over the phone to clients in other states, federal agents attached an eavesdropping device to the outside of a public phone booth used by Katz. Everybody know what a phone booth is? Just making sure we're all on the same page here. Right, be Katz. Be better. Right, so there are phone booths, right? In the olden days, back in 1967, there were no cell phones. So if you wanted to do business and it wasn't your own phone, you had to go outside and use a public phone. All right, everyone knows what that is now. How to explain to someone? Hey, I totally understand. Totally understand. All right, so he's going out to this phone booth, and this is key. That's why you need to know what it is. The FBI had put listening devices on the phone booth. All right, on the outside. So next, based on the recordings of his end of the conversation, Katz was convicted. Here we go. We'll come up. There we go. Convicted under an 8-count indictment for the illegal transmission of wagering information from Los Angeles to Boston and Miami. On appeal, Katz challenged his conviction, arguing that the recordings could not be used as evidence against him. The Court of Appeals rejected this point, noting the absence of a physical intrusion into the phone booth itself. The court granted certiorari. So they're saying that the popo didn't go in the booth. All right, here's the booth, because that's how that works. There's our booth here. And so, like, their stuff is like on the corner. It's not inside the booth where the fella's calling people. That's a bonus, no charge. Anywho, so he's saying, I have a right to privacy. And they're like, dude, we didn't go in the booth. You've got no right to privacy. So here's the question then. Pretty much the first time, the biggest one that kind of set everything in place. Does the Fourth Amendment protection against unreasonable searches and seizures require the police to obtain a search warrant in order to wiretap a public payphone? That's the question. And the conclusion, we have 721 here, which is another thing that I really enjoy about OEA, is they put all this is copied over, but they put all the judges here and pull out which judge dissents. That's always nice. So the answer to that, do they have to get a warrant to wiretap? Yes, they do. The court ruled that Katz was entitled to Fourth Amendment protection for his conversations and that a physical intrusion into the area he occupied was unnecessary to bring the amendment into play. The Fourth Amendment protects people, not places, wrote Justice Potter Stewart for the court. A concurring opinion by John Marshall Harlan introduced the idea of a, quote, reasonable expectation of Fourth Amendment protection. So this is where our reasonableness test came from. It came from the Katz case. So this, anytime privacy comes up, the question is, do you have a reasonable expectation of privacy? Or someone standing in your shoes, do they have a reasonable expectation of privacy? And how I've discussed this before has been very simple, right? So you're in your house, door closed, blinds closed. Do we have a full 100% expectation of privacy? Is that our expectation that we'll be private in our own home? To the chat, we'll see. To the chat. Oh, no. Let's see. Here we go. Yes, Jennifer. Yes, right. So your home's safe. You're safe in your home. I don't know why your home is in the shape of a can, but whatever. So what about your car? What if you're outside in your car? All right, that's a car. It's a bunny rabbit car. Whatever, people. Do you have an expectation of privacy in your vehicle? No. Yes. All right. Yes. So several people think you do have inside of your car an expectation of privacy. All right. Well, that's interesting. Expectation of privacy. And then the question becomes, what about then you go into a store? All right. So you're in a store here. Do we have an expectation of privacy from your car into the store? No. Right. What about the bathroom in the store? We'll put the bathroom over here. What about that? Do we have an expectation of privacy in a public bathroom? Yes. Right. Exactly. Very good. So it's all about a reasonable person, could be any of us, as long as we're reasonable. And we go through these steps. Was it reasonable for us to expect to have privacy? Was it reasonable for Katz to believe when he was inside the phone booth on the phone that he would have privacy? Was that a reasonable expectation? The court said, yes, it was. So what does that mean? You just need to get a warrant, right? So one more thing, though, just to kind of clarify, and this is a huge question. It's always coming up here in criminal law, right? Your home, we know your home's good to go. We know the store is anyone's game here, except for if you're in a private place in the store, right? But the car question comes up a lot. And I have to remind everybody, if you go outside and you are in your car and your car has windows, and so anybody in the public can see you in your car, you have a lower expectation of privacy. Now, let's say you're driving around, zoom, right? And you get stopped for speeding, right? So we're speeding, and the officer's talking to you. Do you have an expectation of privacy there on your vehicle? That's the ultimate question here. The po-pos, like you're going too fast, they bring their flashlight up, they shine it in your car, right? Do you have an expectation of privacy to make it so they could not see it? Heather says, yes, reasonable suspicion for cops to investigate your car. True, could be, sort of, yes. Old creep flashlight. Yeah, we don't like that, Kelly. No, we don't like it. To not search and seizure. Plain sight's the exception, right? Close and yes. No. Right. If it's in plain sight. Exactly. They have to have probable cause exactly as well, Katrina. Exactly. So reasonable suspicion. Hello, Dolphin. Reasonable suspicion's not going to get you inside of the vehicle, all right? The only thing that's going to get you inside of the vehicle is going to be probable cause or probable. It'd be bad if oh no, the puzzle, everybody. Oh my goodness. Let me write this down before I forget. Yikes. All right, puzzle. Fingers crossed, everybody. Here we go. Oh, it's all green. Did we get it? Oh, we got it on the first try. Oh, that's so scary. Right. So, probable cause. You have to have probable cause. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing with cars that I just want to share real quick, and then we'll move on here. Is that the cars come under what we call the Carroll Doctrine. All right. So there's I don't know, the double letters again. It could be two L's, could be one L, unsure. But the Carroll Doctrine here goes into your reasonable expectation of privacy when you're in a vehicle. What is your expectation? What if you are the driver? What if you are the passenger? What if you're in the back? What if you're in the front? And whatever they're looking for is like right in the middle, right? And can officers, search if they do find something? So plain view. Although honestly, plain view is incredibly helpful. My personal favorite is plain smell because that gets a jury thinking like, what? Smelled like a brewery? All right. Yeah, we'll get you in the door. So you got to have probable cause to believe some criminal activity is afoot. And so that's higher than just reasonable suspicion. All right. So if you're interested more in the car piece of reasonable expectation of privacy, I'd go to Carroll, the Carroll Doctrine here. There are multiple exceptions also that can get you from having to be searched. But of course, we got to, make sure that you are following the law. You don't like the smells. I hear you. I mean, that's how they come for you too. Yeah. The wacky tobacco, that's the smell. And also like the brewery. I mean, like if you've ever been, if you've ever been in a situation where you know for sure the person that's there is like been drinking because they smell like a brewery. All right, everyone. That was your 100,000 likes. Old school case. You can do a screen shot here if you're interested in the cat's case. That's what started it all, though. That's what started it all when it came to privacy. And it wasn't that long ago either. So there you go, everybody. That's why cops always say I'm smelling. Right. But when you bring them into court and they start talking about that, you've got to, as the prosecutor, I had to make sure the cop remembered because plain view, plain smell is a difficult piece to remember. And if we don't get to trial for 6 months, they're going to forget about it. So you got to make sure that they're up to date on what it is and that they've described it correctly. Because if they haven't, it's not usable, right? I've got my 18-year-old self to empty my purse. Go, oh no. Okay, Salty, here's the other thing too, everybody. A lot of people forget this as well. Cops lie. They lie. They're big fat liars, all right? Big, huge, enormous liars. Maybe fat's got a wrong designation, but I was thinking of like a whale, like whale blubber. The point is they're going to lie. They're like, oh, you can go ahead and, it's no big deal. NBD if you want, like it's your purse. I mean, it's up to you. If you feel comfortable, turning over, that's just fine. You don't have to. We're not asking you to. We're just saying, yeah, you do have a purse and, we may need to go get a warrant to get into the purse, but if we don't, or if you just would not mind just showing us real quick what's in there, which I'm sure is fine. I'm sure it's just fine. That would be great, right? Big fat liars is what they are. He was stern, exactly, because there's a differentiation in power, right? So a copper's power is up here because they have the right to take you to jail versus your power down here, which is like you can challenge it in court, but you'll be making a call from the jail cell, So you got to kind of do that. Can you refuse if they do not? Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. My page is in the way here. Can you refuse even if they want you to be honest? Yes. And you should, my friends. You should. Depending on your jurisdiction, you may need to give your name, show your identification in a certain way. Like you can't not give your name in some jurisdictions. But other things, do you know how fast you're going? No, of course you don't, because then you'd be admitting to speeding. No. Can I just take a look in your car? No. Do you have anything in your car I should be concerned with? No. And I know that's for officer safety, but if you I don't want to have troubles. No, 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 no. It's just no. And then after that, if they ask you a question, just say, I need an attorney, or I'm not going to say anything, because if they don't arrest you, then you should be free to go. All right. So there's no way to really, this is one of probably the worst one of my examples that I ever give, but it's memorable. All right, everybody. So this is going to be a tough one. Are there anyone under 18 in here? No, we don't talk to cops. Well, I mean, unless you have to, because you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what their training is. They can't make you wait for it. Well, a K-9 is a different question, because we're talking about timing on that, and they're trying to use some kind of special provision, and we literally have a special provision of law just for K-9 units. So like that's the little exception that they put in there everywhere. Am I free to go? Right. Any more trouble for lying about what is in the vehicle? Better to say nothing. Absolutely. Now, the thing is too, and I think you brought up a good point, Thea, is that you can get an interfering with official acts ding at you if you're fibbing to them. So the fibbing from them, you're like, all right, no, I got nothing to say. Fibbing to them, that's going to take you down a different road depending on your jurisdiction. So careful with that one. All right, real quick, here's my quick inappropriate story, all right, because we're all over 18 here. So the way that I always look at the way I always look at police intervention, right? Intervention. All right. Intervention. Don't get me wrong. I've met amazing cops. I've met crappy cops, just like people. Okay, please I don't know. We'll just say intervene. So if the cops are there. So here's the story, all right? I know. I'm not sure I should tell you the story. I say too many things. I shouldn't. So back in the old days, if you've worked a few prostitution cases in your day, if you've worked one, you've worked a million of them, right? We all know that. So here's how. There was one prostitute, and I'm going to draw a picture here. There was one amazing prostitute, lady of the night, gorgeous ma'am, who was like a pro hoe. She knew what she was doing. She's making the money. She was, doing what she wanted to do, and mad respect for that. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's so sad, the prostitution. I'm like, yeah, that's a different question. All right. Right now, we're going to look at her as like the smartest hoe you ever met. And I mean, she's just amazing. So this woman, in order to make her money, right, she needs a John. So whenever she goes and, is on the corner and like, hey, come on over and stuff, right? Then she has to assess the John. And the way I look at police intervention is that, I don't know if this is appropriate. Don't tell anybody this, all right? All right, is that, okay, the po-po, they're the Johns, all right? They just are. And so she would say, like, you know exactly what that John wants. You know what they want. You know why they're there. You know what it is that they're going after. And so what she did was she said, and this has stuck with me all these years, is she said, you got to trick the trick. You got to trick the trick. You got to make the trick think that you're giving them the trick, but you're not. So when it comes to, working with the po-po, right, they can be like, hey, what's going on? You're like all nice and polite, right? Not giving any information away, or even saying, I'm not sure I should see that or not, right? Trick the trick, people. Trick the trick. That means give some blatant information that's fine that anybody has. Other than that, laugh it off and be like, no. I don't think I'm supposed to say that. And they'll be like, oh, come on, you can do it. No, don't do it. All right. So put this in your brain and you will never forget. There's no reason to be hostile, angry, rude, anything about it. All right. So just like if they come ask you questions, you don't have to answer. All right. That's a terrible illustration, but yet memorable. Try not to lie. Try not to lie, only because, again, we've got the interference with official acts stuff going on there. Yeah, don't give it away. Exactly, exactly. So sorry, but that story I think is incredible because it's true. Like, there's no reason why you can't be pleasant to the popo, and they appreciate that, right? But on the other hand, you also don't need to give your rights away. You're not giving them consent. You're not saying, this is fine, go ahead and do this. You're just saying, okay, I'll answer your questions, but anything else, I don't think we're going to be doing that. All right. Back to Maduro. You got it. You got it. All right. So that was my last ho. Was the ho and the po-po. Got it, Wendy. That's so funny. Yes. Oh my gosh, so much respect. I tell you, the sex workers, I just do not get enough respect for the work they do. Putting that aside now, let's go. Let's go to the narco-terrorist organizations working in partnership with the defendants. So again, and I think again, we're just describing who they are. They're going through and saying which groups have got their their claws into Venezuela. All right, so here we go. The oldest work in history and underpaid, quite frankly. All right, number 11. The FARC, since its founding in 1964, has become one of the largest producers of powdered sugars in the world. The FARC has generated significant revenue through its powdered cookie trafficking, which it used to fund its operations, like the Girl Scout cookies, right? Including, for example, large-scale weapons purchases. Nope, spoke too soon. And terrorist attacks, also not a Girl Scout. Oh my gosh, everybody. I've been hitting the tank too hard. All right. The FARC has also directed violent acts against the United States persons and property in foreign jurisdictions, including but not limited to, and this is where we're trying to figure out what's actually going on here. Like, why are you even saying this? Give us some basics. So, but not limited to Colombia, period. For example, from at least in or about 2003 to in or about 2008, that's a long time ago. FARC leadership ordered FARC members to kidnap and unalive U.S. citizens and attack U.S. Interests in order to dissuade the U.S. from continuing its efforts to fumigate and disrupt the FARC's manufacturing and distribution of powdered cookies and powdered paste. Consistent with these activities in or about 1997, goodness gracious, we're going back. The U.S. Department of State designated the FARC as a foreign terrorist organization pursuant to Section 219 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. On November 30th of 2021, so we're over a decade later, the State Department removed the FARC from the FTO list and simultaneously designated two FARC successor organizations as FTOs pursuant to Section 219, again, of the Immigration Act here. So, okay, let's make sure we get all the pieces in here. So the FARC and Segunda Marquetalia, that's pretty, but I can't say it right, sorry, both of which remain so designated as of this filing of this superseding indictment. So here's the FARC. Like, why do they hate us? All right. So they're saying, this is what's getting me when we're trying to look for evidence. They are putting their evidence out here in the complaint, all right? Very clear. They're saying they are working in partnership with the defendants, right? Here are the defendants here. So they're walking us through what's going on at this point. So the first one, when we're talking about this one, the FARC here, we're talking about alleged stuff from 2003 to 2008. I mean, let's just walk this right into the courtroom here. For example, from at least in or about 2003 to in or about 2008, leadership ordered these members kidnapped and unalived. All right, that was a long time ago. How are we going to prove that? How are we going to prove that in this 5-year period, approximately, they had ordered kidnapping and homicide of certain citizens. How are we going to prove that in court? Under Bush, right. Palermo? Yeah, I don't know. It's all mixed up. Sorry. Speculation. Right. It's thin. This is what I would refer to as thin. Got into office in 2013. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, there's some problems here with this here indictment. I absolutely would love to see some justice getting put out on the floor, but we're like, okay, we've got 5 years here of some alleged kidnapping and unaliving and attacking U.S. interests. What interests even? How are we describing interests? It was sparked off. Watch it, girl. No, watch it, girl. No, too soon. I've got to stay the course. That's funny. All right. Anyway, the point is here, we got, how are we going to prove that? This is, right, pretty thin. Even if you brought in some paperwork and the paperwork holders, like this isn't going to impress anybody right here. And 1997, all right, so they said that they were a T organization in 1997. Is it possible that they could say, I don't think they are one anymore, like they did in 2021, and say, all right, you're no longer here, right? Who signed the indictments? This is signed, we had a jury involved, a grand jury. That's been scratched out, but then some U.S. attorney dude's been signing it. Let's take a peek and look and see who it was. 2 decades ago. What? All right. So Jay Clayton, U.S. attorney here. And then I'm really appreciating the redaction on anybody else's names involved in this. But yeah, so the U.S. attorney brings the case in front of a grand jury and then they decide. All right. So this first one is very questionable. It's very, very thin, questionable, in my opinion. It's just too old. I think it would kind of clog up what they really need to focus on. If they could focus on just a couple of really important like home runs here, they would be good to go rather than spreading all this extra crap around, you know? All right, number 12. The ELN has operated as a Colombian T group since 1965, dedicated to the violent overthrow of the democratically elected government of Colombia. In furtherance of its anti-government agenda, the ELN has committed kidnappings, booming, and other violent attacks targeting civilians and Colombian law enforcement. In addition, the ELN exports tons of powdered sugar cookies annually to the United States and elsewhere in order to finance their activities. I'm just going to do this as we go through this because there's no way with what we know right now that they're going to be able to prove this at all. Like who would we even ask to come to court? Let's just ask that question before we move too far. So Colombia's group here is involved again with another nefarious attack here, and with their powdered cookies, right? So that's what we're talking about here. So they're saying they bring over the cookies and then they do their bad activities. Who's going to tell us that happened? Right. Yes, Mr. Fahrenheit. Don't try. Right. Exactly. Sienna. Yeah. I know. Thrown out. Well, it could. How will they tie Colombia in with Venezuela? That's the question too, though, isn't it? Right? So not only do we need someone to come in and say this was the point of what they were doing, but they have to take another step and they've got to connect Colombia to Venezuela, right? They've got to do that. And who's going to do it? Who are they going to get in to do that? Mainly go to Europe and not the USA. I know. Oh my gosh. It's a lot. All right. So I would say number 12 is I would kick it out. No evidence. This is all hearsay. No evidence in here. No nothings. But a couple of like, I think they looked at it. Not so good. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Next, the Sinaloa cartel based in the Mexican state of Sinaloa, has its roots in the 1980s when the so-called Mexican Federation functioned as a council with representatives from the respective drug trafficking organizations of its principal leaders. One sentence, where's your citation? Right? Hearsay. This is all just some dude saying something. Dude, I mean, are you referring to some statement that was made, to an executive order that was made, or something published in a newspaper? Where's this sentence coming from, other than just a conclusory answer? Do you know about the 30 cases brought by admin were blatant? Whoops. Hold on. Do you know about the 30 cases brought by admin where blatant lies and false precedent? You're going to have to be more specific, Dolphin. You have to be more specific. Do you mean right now because of the administration lawsuits? Or are you talking about in the past? So you have to specify your time zone. Oh my gosh, they're worse. They're worse than crackpots at this point. They're like broken on the floor. Yes, El Chapo, right? El Chapo is locked up here. Okay, yes, now I've seen a couple, but I've not seen them referred to as that. So I'm going to write that down here so I can pull that up, okay? Right, because his BS suits are getting kicked out immediately. The judges won't even read the rest of the filings. There was one case where they filed it and the judge was like, no. I'm not even going to deal with this because this is wrong and you know it's wrong. Had any involvement with the writing of this? Don't know. Usually, typically, oh my God, the judges, really? Typically, we'll write our indictments up if we're doing a if we're doing a trial information. But when we're working with a jury, there's kind of a different set of rules we have to be really careful about. Oh, could be. Oh, they were ticked. That's what I was going to say, Dolphin. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, they're upset. They hate that. All right. They want you to have just a basic understanding. So that's kind of what we're dealing with here. We've got one sentence, no way to prove it. During the late 1980s and 90s, members of the Mexican Federation partnered with Colombian sources of supply to transport drugs through Mexico and into the United States. How do we know this? There is nothing in here that shows any kind of check here. Literally just concluding sentences, right? This is absolutely atrocious here. Where's your source? Where's that information? Did you read that out of something? If you're going to use it in your brief, you need to be able to, in an indictment, you need to be able to explain where it came from. Right. Now, I just want to know the sources. We don't have to keep talking about it, but I just want to know what your source is because it sounds like a trust me bro, and those can get you into trouble in the legal field. In the early 2000s, Joaquin Arcavaldo Guzman Loera, anyway, aka El Chapo, and Ismael Zambada Garcia, also known as El Mayo. I laugh only because I think I've not talked to Mayo in a while. Sorry. Okay, formed a partnership that led to the transformation of the Mexican Federation into the Sinaloa cartel, which became the largest drug trafficking organization in the world. At present, the Sinaloa cartel is highly organized and active in more than half of all the states in Mexico. Again, Mexico, not Venezuela, right? Right? And up here, too, we didn't have any Venezuela. We had just Colombia. No Venezuela here. All right. Through a sophisticated and heavily armed security apparatus, the Sinaloa cartel wields power through fear, threats, and violence, including by unaliving police, civilians, and members of other criminal groups who encroach on their territory without authorization. Members of the Sinaloa cartel may also be unalived for perceived disloyalty, disobedience, or to send a message. To further and protect its rug interests, the Sinaloa cartel engages in other criminal conduct, including bribery, which, according to the Supreme Court, no, that's just a thank you present, extortion, and weapons trafficking. As an additional means of revenue and profit, the Sinaloa cartel engages in migrant smuggling and human trafficking. Consistent with these activities, in or about February 2025, the State Department designated this cartel as an FTO under Section 219 of the INA. The Sinaloa cartel remains so designated as to the filing of this superseding indictment. We went through this whole stinking paragraph. We got nothing about Venezuela. We got nothing about Venezuela at all. We have nothing on Maduro either. So this is, again, it's like, well, you just hand this out and be like, well, I wrote it, must be true. So that is no citation here. Right, exactly, Thomas. Competing cartels. Right, good question, right? It's so incredibly thin, really lends the validity. Right. And that's really, before we get to the 4 charges, exactly. I almost forgot we were talking about Venezuela. That's the problem, though, isn't it? I mean, that's such a huge problem. They're coming in and they're trying to say, well, all the gangs that were put on this list before had all done really bad things. So this gang that we are wanting to put on there has also done bad things. And so they're trying, I think, to kind of say, see, these are bad guys, we have bad guys. And as justification for how they're going forward on this, by labeling them as a T group. But this is rubbish. I'm wondering, it sounds like it's from Wikipedia. No shame, nothing to Wikipedia. You do good work, Wikipedia. But, copy and paste, right? Isn't really how an indictment's supposed to work. Regime change, not justice. That's a good point. Right. Could be. Guilty by association. Well, yes, or you could say any of our inchoate offenses could do that. If you're sitting around hanging out while someone's talking about an attempt, right, or conspiracy or solicitation. Chat GPT, I know, I've been looking for some of the words. I'm like, oh, that sounds a little chat style to me. All right. Wow, that hot cocoa was amazing. I do want to skip forward a little bit here, everyone, to our next piece, because we're just a couple of paragraphs away. So next piece here, the defendants corrupt rug trafficking and connections to the narco T groups. So now we're going to get into apparently how they're involved, apparently. I'm not sure about the format of this and how they put it together. I'm just not sure at this point. Maybe they'll clean it up. All right, number 16, Maduro, like former President Chavez before him, participates in, perpetuates, and protects. That's a chat. GPT, that's an AI word, and protects a culture of corruption in which powerful Venezuelan elites enrich themselves through rug trafficking and the protection of their partner rug traffickers. The profits of that illegal activity flow to corrupt rank and file civilian, military, and intelligence officials who operate in a patronage system run by those at the top, referred to as the Cartel de los Soles, or Cartel of the Suns, a reference to the sun insignia affixed to the uniforms of high-ranking Venezuelan military officials. All right, well, that's interesting. Again, where's this coming from? Did you just make that up or what? Right? Venezuela sits in a geographically valuable location for rug traffickers with a northern access to the Caribbean Sea via several large ports and western access to the mountainous regions of Colombia, where coca is grown and turned into vast majority of the world's powdered cookies supply in Jungle Laboratories. No. Starting in or about 1999, all right, we're going back to late 1900s, everybody. Venezuela became a safe haven for rug traffickers willing to pay for protection and support corrupt Venezuelan civilian and military. Before I flip the page, how do we know that? How's that information known? I worried. Here's what I worried about. And by worry, I mean whatever. Are we all sitting in the Oval Office with all of this classified information, just shooting the breeze, because that's what they do, because they're weirdos. And they're just sitting around, they're like, hey, what about that? What about that? And he's like, sure, yeah, let's bring a lawsuit. Hit them with whatever we got. And they're like, okay, well, 1999. Like, I keep thinking that. There's no reference, Blue Dot. We don't have any reference so far. I mean, this is an indictment. So, I don't expect, forevers or a lot of evidence, actually in the indictment itself, trying to justify all the boat removals. All of them are, oh yeah, good point too, Navy vet. Absolutely. I don't think Cheetah can write. Cheeto can write. I never predicted I'd be saying that sentence ever in my whole life. Oh my goodness. All right. So, right. Distraction. Trust me, bro. Exactly. And that, so you don't have to prove anything more than probable cause in order to go forward on an indictment. We've been talking about that for a while now. But if you're listing something out, you got to kind of maybe show people that it is probable cause. This just seems very, very thin, weak, and written by someone that had no idea what they're doing. And, it's not ever a good idea to work with a rug cartel leader when you don't know what you're freaking doing. So it's definitely, yes, wag the tail. Oh my gosh. That movie was like, that's it, I'm out. Don't call me, I'll call you when I'm ready. Which was never. They're trying to plant seeds to go after other countries. Very well could. Why New York? I thought they claimed it was corrupt there. And I think, Nicole, the general consensus from us has been that it's it's a good location, right? There's some portage going on here. There's a way to kind of get it down the rest as well. So, and also New York's one of our top, if not the top state in our U.S. attorneys realm, right? So I would say top 5 would probably be New York, California, Chicago for sure. We would be down south in not San Antonio, but somewhere in Texas, and then Florida. Those are kind of like our hot spots for that. But it seems like New York was a better the better option for them. Okay. Worried about Greenland. Okay, I get it. Where in the world? Ask a question. I never know where I am. The question is, to be concerned about Greenland? Yes. So he is very wacky, true, but cannot buy land like that. That goes against the Constitution. The money to buy something, and before we even get to the money piece of it, they'll be bringing in the war. They'll be bringing that in, So I just hope he stays away from anything that he can write on. Can this case be tossed out if it proves he was illegally taken? Yes, it can, Justin. Absolutely, it can. Which is one of the reasons I want to pull the map up here, because here's our close-up. Let me get the faraways. So far away. And the close-ups. Do I only have the close-up? Maybe. I'm talking to myself. Here we go. Well. Oh, here it is. Oh my gosh, look at this. I even taped it. I made it extra special. All right, so here we are. So where in the world are we talking about here? Because this is crazy. All right, so we're up here, right? This is where we are. Here, most of us, except for the Louisiana Purchase area. Oh my goodness. Here's Cuba, which has been getting a lot of press recently. Guatemala is over here, right? Then Nicaragua is here. Caribbean Sea, Gulf of Mexico is here. All right, and then Colombia is here, and Venezuela is right here at the top of South America. So it's close. I would say Venezuela and Colombia are just the closest ones to us in relations, but they're definitely on the water. All right. So with Venezuela here, and I'm just going to highlight it because I forget where all the countries are. Especially in this particular area because it's not a weird shape; it's just a regular shape, and I'm like, I don't know, I can't remember. So here's Venezuela right up here at the top. And then this is the close-up here of Venezuela. Again, just to get some idea of what people are freaking talking about. How close are the Virgin Islands? Good question. I think maybe here. Does that look right? Maybe. I remember seeing a sign pointing to Cuba, but I can't remember if that was Florida or the Virgin Islands. It might have been Florida. Right. All right. By the way, Virgin Islands, gorgeous. And here's back we are to Venezuela. So Venezuela, again, this is Colombia on the side over here. This yellow part is what's making up Venezuela. So, and we've got this huge mountain range and so on. But if you take a look here, here's the Caribbean Sea that we were just talking about right here. This is how they're saying these states aren't being run properly. The leaders corrupt. They've taken over the whole country, taken over. When you see them set out like this, again, is that friendly reminder that they're still a sovereign nation, right? And this is a strategic place for America to control for South America. Oh, absolutely. Venezuela is definitely, and Greenland too, quite frankly. For different reasons, but he keeps going after Greenland because it would be an amazing place to put stuff in between, the East and the West. Who cares about the people? But yeah, and it's the same kind of thing here. Like, where can we set it up? So first of all, so we can drill into Venezuela's stash. And also be able to get quickly wherever it is that we want to go over to the U.S. Can you zoom in on the coast, the northeastern coast? Sure. Well, I can try. So never eat shredded wheat. So here's that. Here we go. We're zooming. Zooming here. Is that close enough? Grenada we had a conflict in Grenada for a little while in the 80s too. Take a peek at that. Is it okay? Is this zoomed enough? Oh, thanks. U.S. oil companies will go there and fight with OPEC. I know. There's so much going on. Never eat soggy waffles. Hey, whatever, right? 356 China warships all over Australia. It's freaking... Sure. I'm not surprised. Yes, the Spice Island. Yeah. We're like, give us back the nutmeg. And boom, then we're in war. It won't happen. Okay. And I tell you what, with that Mr. Global fella, he knows his business. So if you're like, who can I really ask that's not plugged in to someone with a heck of a lot of money trying to buy stuff from me? I would say absolutely go over to Mr. Global. And the way he explains stuff, like, I hate talking about all that crap. But when I'm listening to him talk, it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. I get it. So highly recommend. Too much to get the oil there. Yeah. We do love Mr. Global here. He does. He is absolutely. And you know what? But he's kind of the whole package too. He's not just about the oil. He's also about, other stuff going on in the world too. So no U.S. oil gas companies want to go to Venezuela, and I believe him. I absolutely do. So this is has a crush. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, all right, let's go back here. This is what we're talking about over in here. All right. So gas or oil, yes. But also, again, and I say this with my whole chest, like how come today is the day, right? What's the reason why it has to be yesterday and then now today? What has changed? Because this has been going on for 25 years. Like, what really has changed? Was it the election? I'm not sure. Do we give it enough time? Don't know. But there's got to be a whole bunch of underlying things occurring that are so important that they started just with small things like, oh, we'll just get rid of a boat here. We'll get rid of a boat there. And then people started paying attention and they're like, oh no, what are we going to do? Well, now we're going to go into the country because now that'll get your attention away from the war crimes, right? Right. And oh yes, those files are very difficult. I'll have to change. Yeah, there's we're not going to come out of this unscathed, people. We're going to take some dings in the process of getting rid of the snake oil seller. Getting rid of that. Yeah, we're going to take some dings, but we're going to make some good clarifying moments too. So you got to remember about that with regards to especially this entire bit going on here. All right, everybody. Now I'm looking at my clock here. I know I was kind of going on and on instead of reading straight through, but I will keep reading. I will keep going through this. Again, as a friendly reminder, I am also working on our historical cases that, in my humble opinion, are not written, emphasized, or explained enough. So I have done Dred Scott. That'll be my next one that I'll go through one more time. And then we'll be moving on to Plessy versus Ferguson. We also have done Articles 1 and 2 out of the Constitution. So we'll be working on Article 3. Well, we could probably do 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, honestly. I mean, the last ones are really short. The last one's actually designing stuff. That's for sure. We don't really need to know that much about it. And then we'll finish the articles and we'll start going through the amendments. All right. So no worries, Blue Horizon. I will make an announcement. It's going to be sometime this week for sure that I want to go back in. It's 250 pages. And so I really want to prep like the most important pieces. We've done an overview, and then of course, Plessy versus Ferguson, right? And you can see how similar these cases are to what we're dealing with right now. So Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, 2 cases there. And then, of course, the Kim Walk. Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Kim Walk. Oh, goodness. Where did it go? I put it somewhere, and now I can't find it. You know, the Kim Walk case. Case. Sorry, I forgot his name. Kim Walker. Oh my gosh. How could I forget his name? My bad. All right, so Kim Walk. And then, what was it? Was it Un? Bop. Sorry, everybody. This is really super important to me that I get this right. Right, Kim Walk Arc. Thank you. Here, so... And then, right, so those are the big cases. So we've got 5 cases here that we are going to go through and make sure we understand what they mean, right? It's history. It's U.S. history. It's just that simple. So it's good to review it, especially right now. So with that, pitch which pen? This one? Oh, I thought you were talking about this one. I can't. This one's the best one ever. All right, everyone. I'll say goodnight for now. Feel free, head over to Amanda. Tell her that we're all finished here. I'll be coming in to get the Dukes out. Getting the Dukes. Wong Kim Ark. Thank you. I thought I was wrong, too. I wasn't sure. Have a great night, everybody. See you all again very soon. Take care.